one of the greatest.
MMA 30, only on Fight Sports.
The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Maricela Calaton. This is TV1 News.
And I'm Rex Litter. Join me later for the sporting details.
In this edition, implement maintenance plan for police houses. Prime Minister announces 500 million kina in disaster response. And Suarez confident in retaining cup. One of the approaches considered in addressing the issue of rundown police housing is to implement a maintenance program whenever a new house is built. Police Minister Peter Samalili Jr. described it as a first-of-its-kind initiative in the country.
The issue of the uninhabitable state of police houses resurfaced during a recent campaign by lay media. Early this month, families living at the Bumbu and Tent City police barracks, including those occupying condemned student dormitories at the 3 Mile Department of Agriculture and Livestock's Old Training Center, shared their challenges with the media. They use their own money to fix their houses, suffer from years of plumbing and electricity issues, and are forced to use pit toilets in the city. Police Minister Peter Siamalili Jr., when responding to lay media, said one of the steps the current government is taking is to ensure a maintenance program is in place when a new house is built for the Royal PNG Constabulary.
Is that we are sourcing from our tax credit program that we will ensure that there is maintenance and repair program for the next 10 years. For every building that we construct, must have a 10-year program of maintenance. That is an initiative that's never been created or never been thought of in the past. We build, we just leave things. Today, this government is responsible. That particular initiative is similar to what we have with our police vehicles. Our police vehicles are provided for, and on top of what we are giving to the police vehicles is that those vehicles also come with a 3-year warranty, which means the full service of the vehicles is part of the purchase price.
The police minister said the new initiatives mean that local MPs and district development authorities will not have to look for funding to repair or service police assets. That way, the police department remains a constitutional office and is not compromised in any way.
But into the future, our aim is to be totally autonomous, totally independent from any legislative arm. We just continue to practice being police and not having our members interfere with paying for fuel or paying for service or repair our homes.
Kamila Guare, TV1 News.
The Department of Justice and Attorney General staff commemorated National Women's Day in Port Moresby on Monday with the theme, Count Her In, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. DJEG staff joined the rest of Papua New Guinea to remember the day, which is observed annually on March 24.
The Department of Justice and Attorney General staff came together on Monday to mark National Women's Day. It is celebrated annually on March 24th. The theme for this year is Counter in Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. According to DJEG Gender Equity and Social Inclusion or GESI manager Tessie Kalamo, the objective of celebrating this event is to acknowledge women's contribution to the department as well as their contribution to the development of Papua New Guinea.
Most of us celebrating this day is basically to acknowledge the women's contributions within the Department of Justice and Attorney General, and we wanted to bring more visibility to that. And
Kalamo said DJEG has 46% of its women in leadership position. It intends to increase the figure. One way of doing this is using the National Women's Day platform to promote their work and participation in national building.
Department, in terms of numbers, we have done very well, where we have 46% of women in our leadership positions, but we'd like to take that further, and so this day presented an opportunity for us to also look at a way forward and call for action or commitment from the management of the department.
She said in the coming National Women's Day, emphasis will be put on equity and not on equality.
That the move away from equality is more appropriate for us in Papua New Guinea, if not globally, because men and women have different needs, and so we will never be equal, but we can create spaces where there is fairness for women to accelerate and perform as well as the men can perform.
Kalamo urged women to start changing their mindset and believing that they have the capacity to even more. Meanwhile, the celebration ended with the cutting of cake. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Meanwhile, GESI manager Tessie Kalamo said the National Women's Day event gave DJEG staff an opportunity to call to action DJEG heads of department to make reasonable accommodation for women's acceleration. Kalamo said accommodation is a challenging issue faced by public servants across all sectors. Kalamo said establishing accommodation for women and men will help them put more effort into service delivery.
To make changes in terms of making reasonable accommodation for the acceleration of women. So while this is a day where we acknowledge the contribution of women in the department, we also want to use this as an opportunity to gain visibility for their contributions, and also use this as an opportunity to call for action or commitment for the leaders of the department to make reasonable accommodation for women's acceleration, so as to not to create spaces of violence while they're accelerating, and also make the policies more responsive and more transformational.
The Citizenship Advisory Committee is expected to hold the highest standard possible when screening applicants. Immigration Minister John Rosso voiced his confidence in the new committee that was sworn in November 2023.
For the last 3 years, the Citizenship Advisory Committee had not been established due to technical issues. With the appointment of its 3 members through the Permanent Parliamentary Committee and their swearing in November 2023, the committee has held 4 meetings so far and has deliberated on over 80 applications from the National Capital District and Morobe Province. Immigration and Border Security Minister John Rosso commended the hard-working chairman, Marsh Narewe, and his team for their efforts in addressing the backlog of over 600 citizenship applications. Speaking after the hearing of 26 applicants on Thursday, March 21st in Leh, Minister Rosso said he has asked the committee to hold the highest standard possible when deliberating on citizenship applications from candidates.
But as a good chairman has pointed out, a lot of these applicants are people who have been here, who have been born here, who have strong family ties with our nation, The grandparents emigrated here a long time ago. They have businesses here. They have strong ties here or are married here. So all these people are trying to get either dual citizenship or become citizens of our country, Papua New Guinea. A lot of them have applied 3 to 4 years ago, and have been waiting patiently for this big important day today, Chairman. I'd like to commend you and the Deputy Chairman and the board for the committee for fast-tracking this and bringing it to our beautiful city of Leh. So you bringing it here has given me, not because I am the immigration minister, but because there's a huge backlog of people from Leh, the Momase region and the Highlands region that have put in applications for the citizenship.
Rosso further said the committee members have been picked due to their no-nonsense attitude and strong moral principles.
I have every confidence in them to ensure that the most appropriate people are given this distinction to become citizens of our country. So, Chairman, I'd like to commend you for your strong hand in this with the Deputy Chairman and Dr. Kwa and the acting CMO with relevance to screening the applications for our people in this part of the region. There's a lot of applicants, some from Australia, United Kingdom, Fiji, Germany, from our neighbors in West Papua.
Rosso emphasized on the stringent screening process, saying submitting one's application does not mean that it will be granted. Kamila Gware, TVWAN News.
Minister for Defense Dr. Billy Joseph has confirmed that the pay issue experienced by PNGDF personnel last pay period has been rectified. He said last week's payroll issues affected the salaries of 263 PNGDF personnel. However, this has been fixed, and most personnel who bank with BSP have been fully paid a total amount of over 200,000 kina remitted to their individual bank accounts.
201,323 kina 63 toya is being remitted to individual bank accounts for more than 200 PNG Defence Force personnel, starting with those who bank with BSP. Minister for Defence Dr. Billy Joseph cleared this with TVWAN News today. Dr. Billy also clarified that their base salary was not affected. He further advised that those banking with other banks will also be credited this week.
The base pay has not been affected, but there was a 3% increment that has been approved. But the inputting of that data into the payroll system from our Department of Defense to Finance Department, there were about 200 or so, 263 to be exact, have not been done. Therefore, that 3% increment was not included in the last PPE, in the last pay. That's why they complain. But with thanks to the Department of Defense and Finance and Department of Personal Management, all of them have worked together very closely to rectify it, and all payments have been done. And some bank with ANZ and Kina Bank and Westpac. So it's going to take some time. Maybe by end of this week, everybody, all pay should go through.
The Minister for Defense issued directives to the PNGDF administration to provide a report as to why all payroll files were not provided to Finance and for appropriate actions to be taken to prevent future recurrence of the same issue. He said the welfare and well-being of the members of the PNG Defence Force is paramount, and the government is taking all the necessary steps to ensure this problem does not happen again.
So there should be no issues, but I have instructed my department to make sure that there is a payroll audit to make sure that kind of incident does not happen again.
The minister put the reminder that PNG Defence Force is a disciplined institution with a strict chain of command, and any acts of ill discipline within PNG Defence Force will not be tolerated. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
This is TVWAN News. We'll have more of the day's other stories when we come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. Espionage, Bunyamyumi.
The Toyota JD Hiace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hiace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hiace bus and experience the Hiace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectations.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Fine PNG made.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trubla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Superstar Keith one-time Thurman steps up to take down a rising star. But undefeated champion Tin Su has other ideas. Plus, world champ Rolly Romero never minces words. But Mexican powerhouse Pitbull Cruz is ready to silence the trash talker.
Thurman versus Zoo and Rolly versus Pitbull. Live March 31st on Fight Sports.
Tough, they don't need to. Tom Carr scores the try.
What a start to accept the marriage campaign this afternoon. There you go.
Welcome back. 2 new government ministers were sworn in today to fill in vacancies in the Education and Energy ministries. Member for Bogia, Robert Naguri, is the new Energy Minister, filling the portfolio left by Kerenga Kua, and Lucas Dekena is the new Education Minister, replacing the late Jimmy Uguru, maintaining a regional balance in the cabinet.
Member for Bogia, Robert Naguri, and Member for Gumini, Lucas Dekena, were sworn in as new ministers today at the Government House.
I, Lucas Dekena, do promise and declare that I will well and truly serve the independent state of Papua New Guinea.
Freely and willingly declare during the period of my appointment as minister my loyalty to the independent state of Papua New Guinea.
Prime Minister James Marape, in congratulating the duo on their appointments, said as CEO of the country, he has appointed ministers to roles associated with their education qualifications and experiences.
And the 2 gentlemen are educated in their own rights. At this time, whilst education is not a necessary requirement, but you would have seen my appointments of cabinet as late. We are trying our absolute best to also infuse into cabinet ministers who can match or can perform at areas where they're competent, they have qualifications, and they relate to, so that we're not just holding office passing time, but we're delivering on intentions and expectations of our people to achieve work.
In defending his actions to create new ministries, he said many departments are big and need to be divided, so there is sufficient political oversight in order to get these departments to work. He said he has been targeting departments that are responsible in progressing the government's key performance areas identified in the Medium-Term Development 4.
It's all ministers on hand. Some may be complaining that the cabinet is too bloated. Far from it, it is not bloated. Consistent with one-third requirement that one-third of our members of parliament can be cabinet ministers. Today, in a parliament that is capped at 118, and with 126 seats to be the seat of parliament after next elections, cabinet ministries that we allocated, we feel, subsumes the workload that a growing population and a growing country has at the moment. Work is bigger, and sometimes in the huge inefficient public service we have, sadly to put in this word inefficient, but we did the political oversight directly on top of the lead of different responsibilities to ensure that work gets pushed.
The appointments today also reflect a regional balance, maintaining these portfolios within the Simbu and Madang provinces, despite a swap of portfolios with Naguri taking over energy and Dekana as education minister. Marape added that the delay in appointing these ministers was to ensure all customary and state obligations in bereaving the death of the late education minister were fully dispensed. Ruth Rungola, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape has announced a funding assistance of 500 million kina to respond to natural disasters around the country. A disaster envelope has been framed and money will be sourced from different government programs to fund this envelope. About 100 million kina of Connect PNG funds has been directed to be diverted for this purpose.
We've set aside just a funding envelope of up to 500 million kina. We'll source from different spaces, and at the moment we've received indications from our diplomat partners in various level of help. It will come in the envelope geared towards helping the people, including our government budget. Cabinet has already released, to my understanding, 100 million kina that was earlier earmarked for Connect PNG. One bundle of this is sent to works, ensure those areas that are affected, especially infrastructure, gets to be attended to at the very earliest. We've also released some infrastructure funds and service improvement funds under DSIP, PSIP, infrastructure funds in budget to districts and provinces concerned for them to ensure they have funds available to make urgent response to areas where need is prevalent as a result of those disasters that has taken place.
The government, with coordinated support from all stakeholder agencies and development partners, has responded appropriately to the natural disasters that has hit many parts of the country lately. Dr. Billy Joseph, the Minister for Defence, is also responsible for the National Disaster Centre. He confirmed that the PNGDF will be assisting about 10 provinces that are affected by various natural disasters. The National Disaster Centre is the national coordinating agency working with the provincial governments and district development authorities, as well as Department of Works and Highways, PNG Defence Force and other stakeholders to coordinate and respond promptly and appropriately to various natural disasters. Minister for Defence Dr. Billy Joseph has confirmed that 10 provinces were hit by king tides and heavy flooding recently. He said the provinces are getting the necessary assistance from the National Disaster Centre, including Goroka in the Eastern Highlands province, which was not included in the initial report provided to his office.
Our country is going through a lot of natural disasters. The first round of disasters that our country faced all around the country, especially in the coastal and island regions of our country, was the king tides. And while we were dealing with that, we had very severe flooding, especially in the highlands, washing our bridges, landslides, destruction of food crops and water source. And there's a lot of disturbance to the traffic, especially around the Highlands Highway. And if we thought that was last, we recently had the 6.9 magnitude earthquake in the East Sepik province.
He added that PNGDF elements are working very closely with the Simbu provincial government and Gumini DDA and their respective leaders, as Simbu was one of the worst affected provinces. The National Disaster Center is also working closely with the leaders of East Sepik, including the provincial government, to ensure much needed help reaches those affected by the earthquake. An emergency allocation of 200,000 kina has been made available for food, water, shelter and medicines. Meantime, Dr. Billy cautions Papua New Guineans to take precaution, and especially when out at sea, as the country's emergency services is stretched and rescue efforts may not be forthcoming in a timely manner. NCSL announced today a net profit of 9.7 million kina for the 2023 financial year. More than 147,000 members' savings accounts will be accredited overnight and paid in addition to the current interest rates, which members are already receiving on their savings accounts. At its board meeting on Friday, 22nd March, NESFAN Contributors Savings and Loan Limited received the audited accounts for 2023 and announced a net profit of 9.7 million kina for the 2023 financial year. After 20% statutory reserving, this will be credited overnight to the savings accounts of more than 147,000 members and paid in addition to the current interest rates which members are already receiving on their savings accounts. This is a total of 4.15% for the 2023 financial year, equating to 11.6 million kina in interest on savings for NCSL members.
Total assets increased by 1.4% to 316 million kina. Net assets increased to 36.3 million kina. General reserves increased by 8.2% to 25.8 million kina. Total membership increased by 3.1% to 146,765 members across the country. Member savings increased by 2.5% to 274.5 million kina. And our net loan portfolio increased by 9.6% to 152.8 million kina.
In 2023, NCSL successfully embarked on an extensive remediation process to improve information technology risk management.
The NCSL board also approved and embarked upon a significant upgrade to our core banking systems to ensure modern digital offerings for our growing membership base across the country. A new call center system has been implemented so that members' queries are promptly answered. And this includes NCSL employees receiving improved training to ensure more customer-centric focus.
The NCSL board expresses satisfaction in the 2023 results and thanks its dedicated team for remaining committed to delivering modern digital services and affordable financial services to its members. Furthermore, Chairman Alfik highlighted challenges the Savings and Loans Organization faced in the last financial year.
We had systems issues which, tested the strength and ingenuity of our team, tested our members' trust within us. But, you know, I'm so grateful and thankful to be sitting here today, you know, having come through, as we mentioned there, you know, an extensive remediation process and a very, I guess you could use the word, deep remediation or work on our technology risk management. You know, throughout, we've been able to continue to deliver the service levels that hopefully our members have been satisfied with, and look forward to an extensive, the word, you know, we used was upgrade, to ensure that the services that we deliver now and into the future are even better than.
In June 2023, the government of Papua New Guinea launched its very first inclusive green finance policy in partnership with the Bank of Papua New Guinea. This launch was a significant milestone for the country as it remains steadfast in fulfilling its international commitments to the Alliance for Financial Inclusion under the Sharm el-Sheikh Accord. On Monday, March 25th, this commitment was further strengthened with the launch of the Green Finance Center for Papua New Guinea. The Green Finance Center's primary role will be to transform Papua New Guinea's financial sector into one that is inclusive, climate resilient, and promotes green economic growth.
Not only is it that there is an urgent need for climate resilience and adaptation measures to protect those most at risk.
The significance of the Green Finance Center milestone is in its role, its structure, and its partnering relationship. I see the role of the GFC as a specialized hub, providing the ways and means for PNG to achieve sustainability, gathering intelligence, processing it into relevant, practical, and meaningful to the market material, developing opportunities for innovation, educating, coordinating, and collaborating.
I am pleased to announce that the Green Finance Center has already begun its crucial work of implementing the IGFP. With a dedicated team in place, the GFC is poised to drive the transformation of PNG's financial sector, ensuring that it is sustainable, resilient, and inclusive.
Led by the Bank of Papua New Guinea and in partnership with the Global Green Growth Institute with support from the New Zealand and French governments, the IGFP is a visionary policy and the first of its kind in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific that will be implemented through the centre launched on Monday.
New Zealand has been funding 10 out of the 62 roadmap activities. Our funds have focused on establishing this Green Finance Centre that we will launch today and the initial activities to coordinate and carry forward the work, developing a plan to mobilise resources for the centre and integrating the taxonomy within financial institutions. I guess the key point about all of those interventions is that they are about trying to shift the system and all its actors.
France is providing, through its development agency, AFD, Agence Française de Développement. You have to get more and more used in this acronym. 3.5 million euro, it is to say 14.2 million kina, to work with GTGI and BPNG to operationalize the Green Finance Center of PNG. Moreover, France is providing an additional 2.5 million euro, let's say 10 plus million kina, to support a better coordination between Pacific Central Banks and public development banks, including the dissemination to the rest of the Pacific Island countries of PNG's leading example.
The Green Finance Center will serve as the entity responsible for implementing the inclusive and green finance policy and all future initiatives related to green finance in Papua New Guinea. And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2651 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying 0.2576 US dollars, 0.3912 Australian dollars, 0.2301 euro, and 38.69 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, all closed higher except copper, and copper closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. TV1 News continues after the break with stories making headlines overseas. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up and big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
All Mama Flame is Lori Olsem.
Me say you sing flame flower long one him. Yeah, me say me Kim Kai Kai belong family belong me. You go more yet.
Man belong me save like him flower balls belong me what them kawa war na spring onion. All pikinini belong me save like him to mas pineapple donut me save walk him lo house. Ne me kumu mix him what them cow na karamapim long flower.
Tasty hash browns.
Time is scaling one time olara pela Kai Kai. Me save kissing more Kai Kai long all get a toya me tromoy one time flame flower.
You enough making more one time flame flour.
Harry Mulga the rice lovers. Me plaga 300,000 kina scale school money long win him. Sans belong you win him 1,000 kina. 300 per lucky line by winning inside long 4 plus fortnight. Sans belong you win a big plus thread. By 1 kg he go in a 20 kg scale or ori rice. Cut him this stamp na put him inside long envelope and the full name na contact details long you. Na drop him inside long entry box long store. Promotion by Pinis long March 29, 2024. Hurry up now win big plus one time scale na ori rice. Piani mi plan long social media long save mo. Terms na conditionista.
Sends it back in field. Oh, the picker and charge and score. He's gone. Bobby's off again. Bobby scores again. Seen this last week, the chip through. The chase in the field. Goodness me. Over he goes. Celestino.
In regional news, Australian police say one person has died and 2 people are still missing after a fishing boat capsized near Port Lincoln yesterday.
Time ago, we located a deceased person in the water in the same location. That person is now currently being conveyed back to Port Lincoln by the State Emergency Service, and obviously we will be conducting inquiries on behalf of the coroner in regard to that death. At this stage, we don't know who that person is. They're yet to be identified, and I'm certainly not going to speculate as to who it may be. The boat itself has also been recovered, and that is on its way back now to Port Lincoln, and that will be offloaded later today.
Now, Amelia, the search will continue today. What are the conditions like for that?
Yes, it's very calm waters today, very benign. Police said they were still hopeful to find the missing two remaining from the group, considering the two that were rescued yesterday afternoon, this morning at around 2 a.m. had spent a considerable amount of time in the water. So clear conditions, blue skies today, and the search continues.
The bodies of 3 Rohingya refugees have been found in the sea as Indonesian authorities ended a search for survivors from a boat near that capsized Aceh province, the provincial search and rescue agency said. More than 70 Rohingya were presumed dead or missing, which, if confirmed, would be the biggest loss of life in such an incident so far this year. The UN Refugee Agency said on Friday 75 people were rescued from the boat on Thursday, carrying 44 men, 22 women and 9 children after they huddled on its overturned hull throughout the night. Fishermen first spotted 3 bodies at sea and reported them to local authorities on Saturday, according to the Associated Press. Mirza Saprinadi, national head of operations at Indonesia's Search and Rescue Agency, told the Reuters news agency that 2 bodies had been identified as females. Youth housing advocates are in Canberra today asking for funds to help with more than 2,000 homes for young people. Campaigners say almost 40,000 children and young people came into them for assistance in the 2023 financial year, with close to half remaining homeless afterwards.
Young people do end up leaving homes, often because of family violence or neglect or abuse in the homes, and then end up in a private rental market that is completely unaffordable for them. So they do end up at homelessness services, and the problem that homelessness services face is that there's not housing options that young people can afford, either in the private rental market, but it's actually also very difficult to get them into social housing. So we need dedicated tenancies for young people.
So of the people then who come to you for help, how many are you able to help and how do you help them?
So look, we know that each year 15,000 young people come to homelessness services specifically needing long-term housing, and so 15,000 young people get turned away without getting the housing that they need. And so look, the kinds of support that young people need is both safe housing, but it's also support to stick with education, to make all the developmental leaps that young people make at that age, because you're talking about 16, 17-year-olds who don't have family support that they can rely on to help navigate health appointments, help navigate access to Centrelink, all of the sort of bureaucracy that you have to navigate when you're transitioning to independence. That's support that young people might need to get from a youth homelessness worker.
Right. So you're in Canberra today then, Kate. What's your message for the federal government?
So the federal government have already set aside $1 billion to invest in social housing in the National Housing Infrastructure Facility, and what we're calling on them to do is allocate those resources specifically to youth tenancies. And the reason why is because other funding for social housing is not ending up in youth tenancies because young people have such low incomes. On youth allowance, they have a much lower income than you would have on job seeker or a pension. And so when community housing providers go to build housing for young people, their very low incomes mean that they wouldn't be able to maintain paying back the loans that are needed to build that housing. So you need to create a funding stream specifically for young people's housing, and that's what we're asking the government to do.
US and British officials have filed charges, imposed sanctions and called out Beijing over a sweeping cyber espionage campaign that allegedly hit millions of people, including politicians, academics and journalists. Authorities from both nations accused a hacking group named APT-31 of being an arm of China's Ministry of State Security. It reeled off a laundry A list of targets: White House staffers, U.S. senators, British parliamentarians, and government officials across the world who have criticized Beijing. Defense contractors, dissidents, security campaigns were also hit, the officials said. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong said Australia joined the international community in expressing serious concerns about malicious cyber activities by China's state-backed actors, noting Australia had not been affected by the latest alleged attacks. 19 people have been charged after a protest against the arrival of an Israeli cargo ship at Port Botany. Officers clashed with demonstrators who were trying to block an access road to the port last night.
Chaotic scenes at Port Botany as police haul away protesters allegedly blocking a roadway and access to the port. Push came to shove after some protesters staged a sit-in on the road despite being asked to move on.
Your presence here is obstructing traffic. Risking the safety of yourself and others in this area.
19 people were arrested and later charged with a range of offences.
Stop resisting!
Protesters say the police were heavy-handed.
It is shameful that the police have been intimidating peaceful protests. They have been cracked down after police crackdown to try and stop these protests.
I think it's really awful to see the police respond like this, and there's absolutely no need for it. It's a peaceful protest.
Take off your riot gear! I don't see your riot here!
But the Premier has nothing but praise for the officers involved.
A lawful directive was given, it was ignored by the protests, it was deliberately ignored by the protests, probably in order to provoke a confrontation between protesters and New South Wales Police.
The protesters were demanding the government ban Israeli shipping company Zim from Australian ports, arguing it's been complicit in the war in Gaza. It's not the first time Port Botany's been targeted by protesters since the war began last year.
I think ultimately a lot of these protesters are going to do more damage to their cause than strengthen it as a result of disrupting tens of thousands of people through these activities.
We are all Palestinians!
The 19 people arrested have been issued with notices to attend court.
And back home, with the outcome from last year's performance, the PNG Circus team is aiming for another grand show at the Port Moresby Arts Theatre this April. Director and founder for the Active City Development Program, Fazila Bazari, said 2 Australian volunteers have been with the team for 3 years and are committed to helping the group better its craft and performances.
The PNG Circus is on again and is expected to showcase another exciting performance during the Term 1 school holidays from the 6th to the 14th of April 2024. The group, made up of many young performers, are aiming for a showstopper event. PNG Circus is a first of its kind in the country, mooted by the Active City Development Program under the National Capital District Commission. Director and founder for Active City Development Program, Fazila Bazari, shared that the young members are an inspiration to the country's unemployed.
We started using performance and trying to make them feel that, yes, you are from the street situation, yes, you're probably not at school, yes, you're probably not at work, but look at the skill that you have. I can't do what you can do. Many people can't do what you can do. How can we tailor this and how can we put this into something that can be marketable and make them employable? There's not enough room or there's not enough opportunities for young people to express themselves in this way. So it is always like them and struggling. We know that even in the music industry, in the performance industry, there is not enough support in encouraging young people with so much talent.
Bazari said previously 2 volunteers from Argentina were with the circus team mentoring for 3 years.
It's a really big deal for us because right now myself and Aya, we're taking leadership and taking control of everything, getting sponsors, finding sponsors and building up our team. This is our second show here in the Moresby Arts Theatre. We had our first show last year and we had a lot of demand. People wanted to watch more shows.
Award-winning professional theatre actor David Joseph has 14 years of experience in circus performances. He says he is committed to the PNG Circus.
As Australian volunteers, the aim of our roles here is to establish and facilitate sustainable, locally led projects. This co-production here is, I'm hoping, is the start of a long-term and very fruitful relationship where the PNG Circus can represent the country and tour the world. I mean, PNG Circus is completely unique in the world. There is no other circus from Papua New Guinea. Currently, the PNG Circus is looking for sponsors. It is planning a grand performance and hopes many can attend and support. Jasmine Rojak, TVWAN News.
In a significant gesture of appreciation for cultural preservation and community empowerment, a member for Hiri Koyari, Kit Iduhu, announced a funding launch for 5 of the 2024 Hiri Hanenama contestants. The press conference held today highlighted the importance of recognizing and supporting the cultural heritage embodied by these young women.
2024 Hiri Hanenama contestants from Baraka, Ugaire, Kido, Tubusera and Boer represent the vibrant tapestry of the Hiri Koyari district. Stemming from the recent Hiri Moale festival, these individuals showcase their beauty and a deep-rooted connection to their culture and community. Hiri Koyari MP Keith Iduhu said that beyond its celebratory nature, the festival serves as a testament to the rich history and traditions that define the district's identity. As a token of appreciation, the district allocated 25,000 kina, equating to 5,000 kina for each contestant, to bolster the well-being of each contestant and their families, whether for education, small business ventures, or personal needs.
We are hopeful that they can utilize this small cash donation towards their own well-being for their families. They can engage in SMEs, or they can do other setup towards this education fund.
From cultural immersion to confidence building, the journey promises to shape the 5 young lasses into exemplary members of their communities.
An event, I'm sure it was a very good experience for them, being chaperoned and understanding the culture and even certain protocols. So I'm sure that this is boost to their confidence, and it will empower them as they move into adolescence and grow into fine young women in our communities.
Looking ahead, Iduhu announced plans for the inaugural Hiri Koyari Trade and Cultural Festival scheduled for September.
We will also be hosting the inaugural annual flagship event, which is the Hiri Koyari Trade and Cultural Festival in September this year. I've taken the liberty from the committee to announce this event that we coincide with the 49th independence, and we'll line it up for the 50th independence also, and going on forward. So,
as the Hiri Hanenama contestants embark on their journeys, they carry with them the unwavering support of their district and its leaders. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 News.
And that ends the news segment. Rex returns with all the sports details after the break.
Beauty is my business, but beauty sure is a tough game. Filters are great, but great skin, better. And that's why my skin deserves the best. So I choose self-care, soaps that gently nourish my skin, resulting in a radiant look. Made with tropical ingredients. I trust self-care from City Pharmacy. So bring it on! My skin is ready and so am I.
How would you describe your mother?
My mom is beautiful. She is strong like Superwoman.
I love my mom because she always takes care of me.
My mom, she's so patient and loving. I feel she's always around.
Caring. She works so hard and always wants the best for me.
She's soft like her love.
My mom is everything, and I don't know what I'd do without her.
Softland, fragrance of a mother's love.
Buy more, win more one-time Roots Rice. Win up when you mark below 300,000 kina. No can miss out.
Beim 10 kg Roots Medium Grain Rice, cut them round in big Roots logo on top long front long bag rice, na write him name, na naman long your long backside long name. Drop him inside long entry box long store. Week 1 draw, 1 winner by 500 kina. Week 2 draw, 1,000 kina. Week 3 draw, 2,000 kina. Na long week 4 draw, 5,000 kina. Second Roots Rice Facebook page long kissing more talk savage. Terms and conditions is stop.
Paying for your PNG Air ticket with Cell Money is now possible. Visit the website www.pngair.com.pg to make a booking and select Cell Money as the payment option. You will receive a confirmation email including Cell Money reference number and the amount to pay within 24 hours. Once done, dial *888#, select option 4 Bill Pay, select PNG Air, enter the Cell Money reference number. You will receive a pop-up message asking you to confirm that all your information provided is correct. Enter the Cell Money PIN to confirm the payment. You will receive an email for PNG Air with your ticket details. Call 888 for assistance. Cell Money, a product of Digicel.
This season, the Bunce family are taking the ultimate risk.
There's no investors, there's no third party.
We're paying for it ourselves.
We have to find some good trade.
The stakes are high, and every decision is their own.
Time and money is everything. That's how important it is.
Hit it! Rush, 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 move, move, move.
It's all or nothing.
If we don't mine this year, we have no next year.
Jade Fever, streaming now on Outdoor.
Welcome back. The New Power Sports Talk Rugby Sevens tournament has been confirmed today for the Easter weekend with an 85,000 kina prize money for grabs. Founder of the Sports Talk Rugby Sevens tournament, Benson Upas, and tournament coordinator Joe Kautu, along with sponsor New Power Limited, are excited to bring the 2024 edition of Sports Talk Rugby Sevens tournament to the participating clubs and the rugby fans. Talk Rugby Sevens tournament brings together best Rugby Sevens teams in the country to compete for the grand prize on Easter weekend in Port Moresby. The Rugby Sevens tournament will feature 32 teams in the open men's division and 12 teams each in the women and junior divisions. 4 teams will be drawn in each pool. The finals format will be a little bit different than in the previous years. Benson Upas, who initiated Sports Talk Rugby Sevens tournament, said this rugby event is to give young Papua New Guinean rugby players an opportunity to display their skills and talents in order to move up the tier to represent their country internationally.
And I think it will really elevate our performance, give more experience to our players and exposure. Most of the time it's the rules that goes against us is because we don't have much exposure locally, and if we have that competition, I think it's a right step going forward.
Upas shared why he developed this initiative.
It's just the pure passion and love for the sport. It's a family-oriented sport, and we love to. We took the initiative because we saw that there wasn't much sevens tournament. So that we created, we started to think along that line. Joe Kautu came up with an idea. We said, okay, let's implement it.
CEO of New Power, Michael Uyari, said the company was happy to partner with Sports Talk magazine for the 3rd consecutive year in hosting the event.
The reason we're backing rugby sevens, I think, in our country is the
that it's the only sport I see that can take our young men and women right around the world.
The new Power Sports Talk Rugby Sevens tournament will be played at 2 separate venues starting Good Friday. The first 2 days will be at Bava Park and the finals will be staged at Sir John Guy Stadium. City residents are being encouraged to come along and enjoy a feast of sevens action this Easter weekend. The 2023 New Power Sports Talk Annual Rugby Sevens Tournament champions, Biala Suarez of West New Britain Province, are confident they will retain the cup title this weekend. Suarez captain Sam Voku said this today at the launching of the 2024 edition of Sports Talk Rugby Sevens Tournament. The Biala Suarez of West New Britain Province put on a show in the 2023 New Power Sports Talk Annual Rugby Sevens Tournament Grand Final, beating a strong Gerehu Natives outfit at the Santos National Football Stadium to claim the cup. Returning for this year's tournament, Captain Sam Voku said his side is prepared for the tournament and will give their all to retain the cup.
As a captain, lo Suarez, no doubt, hopefully bom laksem bekai sa cup. Because lo training, sacrifice the training, lo topo blokam bawin, lo terpasan lo lamin, we believe was bom laksem bekai sa cup.
Voku said Kennedy Benjamin and current Puk center Derek Voku will not be joining the team this year.
Lo starting lo bipla making team all staff inside. Derek, Dixon, Kennedy all staff inside. Come lo along the way lo come namel now all just pull out. Just go lo team. Dixon, Kennedy I think all go lo Pirates, Kime Pirates. Derek I think Brothers Kime. Ako join mo.
Voku remains confident in the team that's been assembled, and much like last year, a few boys from home have been recruited to the team.
Coach, as a coach, I'm looking at the training of all boys that look. Some of boys that look less. Jinx coach, I'm Salim. All training, all special training, all less. Some of boys that look less. All training labs, or this Sunday, chalo come up.
Biala Suarez have been coached by former PNG Puk sprinter Junior Sabata, who also steered the side to victory last year as a team captain. The New Power Sports Talk Rugby Sevens tournament runs for 3 days, March 29th to 31st. That's all we have in sports. Maricela.
Thanks, Rex. We'll now have the weather forecast. In the southern region, isolated showers and thunderstorms, but mostly partly cloudy. Tumamase, isolated showers and thunderstorms, Ley partly cloudy. Over to New Guinea Islands, isolated showers and thunderstorms, Kavieng mostly fine. And up in the highlands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Mendi, Tari and Wabeg, few showers and possible thunderstorms. Coral seas, seas light with northeast to southeast winds of 5 to 15 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas smooth with north to northwest winds of 5 to 10 knots. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru, to Kiwai Islands, to Kerama, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samarai Islands, waters of Cape Vogel to Huen Gulf to Finchafen, and waters of Long Island to Medan, to Iwek, to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And that ends another edition of TV1 News. Have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.